What's going on, everybody? James Collins here, cpwe.biz, and I'll let the others introduce themselves as time goes on here. We're just joining tonight to talk about the basics of AI. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Greg and Chris.
Chris Stevens.
Greg Hike coming at you. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Damn. Chris Stevens, cpwe.biz and cpwe.ai. Go ahead, Greg.
Pardon me, we're trying to multitask. Craig Hyatt. All things, everything, cpwe.biz, arcwebdesign.net, arcwebhosting.net.
Awesome. So, as I said, we are going to go over some of the basics, extreme basics that we have went through to get to where we're at. So, I'll start. And the question is, what would you say is basically like a hack, something that everybody needs to know about AI that's beginning, something you didn't know at first, but you know now, and it's become very important. Go ahead.
So, if you are a system administrator like I am, it doesn't matter how good you are, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. We don't know all the commands to do all things. So Google is our friend a lot of the time. GitHub and sometimes Reddit or uh, wherever you can find the information. Most of the AI models have been trained on all of the most of the operating systems, all of the big ones, Windows, Linux, Mac, most flavors of Linux. And they have been trained or not necessarily fine-tuned, but trained on all of the supporting documentation, all the commands, how to link them together, all that kind of stuff. So what I have caught myself doing, not a whole lot, but more and more as time goes on, is if I get this weird thing that comes up, instead of trying to, use the dash help with the command, which is great, but it's a whole lot easier if I can turn my chair over to my other computer and pull up my locally running AI and say, here's the problem, here's what I want as a solution, give me a command. And I had it write me a really cool bash script. All I have to do is copy it, paste it, set it in a cron tab entry to time it, done.
So, how did you go about thinking of setting it up that way? Like, what made you
Okay.
choose what you chose? How did
Oh,
you
okay.
prompt it?
So right. Okay. So the systems that I maintain run Red Hat Enterprise Linux. We call it RHEL for short, RHEL Linux. Um, and I we had this problem. So each one of our systems has like thousands of cups printers configured in it. That is an enterprise level problem, and it is a problem at every enterprise. Because if you have that many printers, stuff gets weird. Um, and some of our sites, because we have 30 for my team, some of them don't, when they take a printer out of service, they don't go into the higher level program because the RHEL 8 is our base OS. And then we have a database program, then we have another program on top of that. So it's a very layered system. And this printer path starts at the top and goes through each layer before it goes out to the device itself. And these printers, they're they're not consumables, but they're consumables. I mean, they get replaced every couple of years. Uh, and some sites, when they take that physical device out of service, they don't go into the program and take that device out of service. It's called a device file entry. There's a certain way to do it, and they either won't do it right or won't do it at all. Is usually what happens, and it's a multi-step process. It's not complex, but it is complicated. It's easy stuff to fill in the fields, but there's a lot of fields, and you got to know which ones to do. And so we already have a script that runs once a day, and it just gives out this list of the queue names that failed to ping. What I wanted was, and this list is up there, and then the next day it refreshes, right? Because this ping runs once a day. I wanted to do that same thing, but instead of porting it to a web page that refreshes once a day, I wanted it to output to a file um, that has the site code and then the date for easy reference. And each site has their own folder that I made on a shared drive. And what was the rest of this? Was a couple of months ago. And the script that we already have is using a CSP file or a CSP script, and mine is at the OS level, right? Uh, it uses Bash, which is I can't remember what Bash stands for. I know the SH is shell, but it's something stupid like big ass shell or something like that. Um, like if you look it up, what Bash stands for, it's worth a chuckle. But anyway, so I wanted this, and there's some if then statements and all of this other crap that goes along with it, and instead of spending a couple of hours trying to write this out and then test it and then tweak it and test it and then tweak it and break it and fix it and test it. It's a whole process. I pulled up my AI and I said, do this. I said, this is what I have. This is what I want. Make it happen. And it spit me out the bash script in about 30 seconds. Actually, I told it beforehand. I said, act as how did I word it? Something like act as uh, an OS developer slash engineer with 20 years experience of Red Hat Linux. And then I told it the whole scenario, said, this is what I want. And it spit it out in about 30 seconds. And I copied it over, gave it the right file permissions. And it worked the first time.
So, cron jobs are something that runs every day or every month or on a time schedule. So whenever you're running a cron job like that for a server, that's extremely technical that most people wouldn't understand. But in a day-to-day life, could you make that a cron job that read all your emails and deleted spam mails? Or could you make that something that daily you could use in everyday scenarios
I don't
for a
think so.
beginner? You
Uh,
don't
and,
think so?
and no, and I'll tell you why. Because cron is bash stands for born again shell. Uh, as opposed to the old school where it was just the sh. Um, the cron, it's actually cron tab. That is a very base OS thing. And this is in the weeds. Most people don't care about this, but uh, that is what schedules everything we have. I mean, if you look at our standard cron tab, it's got it's got a list of stuff. I mean, everything from running scripts, uh, checking DNS load balancer or load broker, making sure that the advertised FQDN is correct on all the servers. Um,
Fully
I mean,
qualified domain name.
yeah, the whatever name at whatever.com.
And
Um,
you need that if you're on a Mac, for sure.
or a if you're running any kind of Linux server, you have you that FQDN is your friend, especially. Oh my God, they made it when we did this last, because we like to do upgrades about every 18 months or so. When they did one of the last ones, when we went to the high availability mirror instead of the cluster setup, because we used to be able to go into an ECP address. It was, you know, whatever at whatever dot gov, and I could set up a session, a secure shell session, and hit that, and it would take me to whichever server was primary. And now I have to guess. So I wind up, because we have an A and a B, and
How about
they're
you, Greg? Oh, sorry to interrupt. I thought you were done.
oh no, I'm done. That's all right.
What would you say is a hack for a beginner using AI? Something that you've learned, maybe frameworks and prompting, maybe just share with.
Only because I do more in the writing aspect as far as publicized content. So I rely heavily on AI because everybody's like, "Oh, you don't want to publish AI written content." But here's the thing, and this is where people get a little jacked up in how they use most AI tools, is not knowing how to properly set up their prompts in the background. They just think they want to type something in a little box and it's going to spit out exactly what they want. You have to set up the parameters in the back end to guide it. If you don't guide it, a lot of times what you get on the front end is nowhere close to what you ask for.
I saw one of Greg's prompts. I don't know how to prompt, apparently, because if you read one of his, it's a page of parameters, and I'm like, good God, no! I just, here's what I want. Give me what you think I want, and his spits out. I mean, just precise information. First time.
Yeah, it's to the point to where I go in and I've got it even set up. When I type in a phrase like "I need an article," something very basic, then the next thing it's going to do is ask me, "Okay, what's the title that you want to utilize for your article?" So I give it the title. Then it's going to ask me, "Who is this item? Who's the intended audience for this article?" Tell it that. Hit go. Let it do its thing. I've got all mine set up to generate between 2,900 and 3,500 words per article. Typical decent length article to use for SEO purposes. I've already got it set up to configure both SEO, AEO, and AEO technologies throughout the article itself. And at the end, I say, "Thanks, you was a superstar on that." And it actually tells me, "Man, it was great working with you, Greg. Really liked writing this." You know what? You can make them as custom as you want. They become your best friend. But it just depends what your needs are. But again, knowing how to set up the prompt on the backside, because if you're looking for a specific outcome, you're going to have to give it specific guidelines to follow. Because if not, I promise you, every time you go back to it, it's not going to be the same. If you find yourself using it for similar things day in, day out, whether it be social media post, blog post, maybe writing SOPs for this, that, and the other, again, having the parameters and guidelines set in place in the back end will definitely tailor it to more closely meet what it is you're looking to accomplish. And if you want, I'll show you the back end of one of my prompts because I knew Chris was going to hit on that. Let's see here.
That was something.
Let's go
When I
ahead
read
and
that,
get
I'm like,
into the details.
wow.
You got control, brother.
Let me come back over here so I can, which button? Present. Let's see, screen. Let's go over that one. And sure. All right, so here we go. You can see all the way down through here. Content readability. All content must be human readable, written from an eighth grade reading level or higher. Keep sentences clear, concise, avoid overly complex jargon unless explained. Here's where we start getting into the SEO. And for those of you who engage with us, you'll start hearing me refer to these terms frequently. EEAT, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. That is a Google thing. It is also the way to help get you cited inside of any of the bigger popular AI
That's
programs out
right
there.
there.
AO, assuming SEO best practices in mind. Going down here. Each article 2,900 words in length, concluding elements at the end of each article. I told it to give, I want a joke at the end of every article. SEO title, SEO meta description. Give it my voice and tone. Here we go. Professional yet friendly. Maintain your professionalism to your dedication to website design, AEO, and SEO, but using a good old Arkansas boy tone. That's who I am. Helpful, patient, be eager. It gets really detailed. And everybody's like, oh my God, that's a lot. But it's specific to what I want it to output when I come in here and say, I need an article. Let that work its little
Yeah,
magic
it's a
here.
lot. It's not like you're coming up with all of that every time.
No, because once you do it one time,
Set it and
unless
forget.
you want to make some minor changes, you set it and forget it. So as you can see, I typed down the article and said, well, hey there, Greg, you're the boss, so let's dive in and get started. Please tell me the title of the article. Okay. Title. How to use AI for everyday uses. Boom. Be done. And watch it spit and go. Let's see. Let's use work from home professionals as my intended audience. Now that we know what the title is and who my intended audience is, plus everything that's set in the background, and away it goes. And just let it work its magic, and probably in less than, keep in mind, I just asked it for 3,000 words. Might take a minute and a half, whatever. And everybody's like, oh my God, that's too long. Could you type 3,000 words
Hey,
in a
nobody
minute and a
types
half?
3,000 words a minute.
That's what I'm talking. I haven't just was goofing off trying to build a native app to where I could pull the RSS feeds from different sites, news sites, different things I enjoy, and to kind of put it into an old app, kind of like Feedly. So it's an RSS feed where you load them in there, it sorts them out, puts all the, gives you all the feeds, yada, yada, yada. Took 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Everybody's like, oh my God, that's too long. 3 minutes to write 5,000 lines of code for it. I couldn't write 5,000 lines of code probably in 3 hours, much less 3 minutes.
That is a lot of code.
Speaking of, have you used Claude Code?
I haven't. I tried Claude. That's before they started spitting it back out, updated their models. So I was using Google's AI Studio. So, and here's the other thing too. You can get in the hole real quick with a whole lot of AI subscriptions. I think what's key here for people to take away is first of all, determining what your need is. If you need something more upscale, well, first of all, you need someone like us, got a whole team of professionals know how to put your stuff together for you. Just on a personal basis, though, you're just clowning around. Find something that you feel comfortable in. Because if you don't feel comfortable in it, you're never going to use it.
Yeah, I found Claude to be very useful for research and analysis because everything that I do, if I have an idea, if I get clear on an idea, then the very first thing I do is build a focus group and build out my target avatar based on feedback of the AI focus group I built. And it usually gives me about 5 avatars with their problems. And we use a problem first uh, methodology. So the problem first methodology means we define your problem, and then we then do the work around that long prompt that Greg's talking about to fix the problem. Uh, Typically, the problem presents itself about the time you start thinking about it from a different viewpoint, maybe having a mastermind group to talk to about what you're currently experiencing. They have seen similar and no issues that are similar to yours based on experience. And a mastermind group in this case is us three. If you were to meet in our office one on one, we would go through your business documentation and help you set out a clear path where you want to go, and we would be able to do that with you. That's something that we are very excited to do and offer right now, and it's called From Curious to Confident, and it's a challenge that we go 3 days with you in the office, and we go through all of your documents and all of your potential questions and answer them one on one. That way, you don't
I'm gonna
ever
give
have a stupid question. Never.
I'm gonna give y'all a challenge out there, and I encourage you to join on this whenever James decides to bring this live to our local area here in Russellville. You bring me 10,000 pages of documents.
I thought you were going to say $10,000.
No, you can do that too. 10,000 documents, or give me access to them on a Google Drive, whatever, however you want to do it, as long as I can upload them to where I'm going to upload them to. Tell me what you want to achieve from those 10,000 pages of documents. If you'll give me 1 hour, 1 hour, I will have deliverable results of the best solution to meet your problem. Are you up for that?
I concur. You can give me an hour and I would do the same, or Chris would do the same. But you put all three of us together and you get an optimized solution. So for the beginner, I'm going to give you a hack that I've learned. I started in 2022 heavily in AI. I've been overlapping the career field for almost 15 years. So I've seen a few things in my years. One thing that it took me this long to learn is the word framework. Think of a word like easy, or maybe even shorter letters, in our case, CPWE, and then put words to those letters. Like the CPWE is creativity. You find the problem, and then you put in the work to build the prompt, and you educate yourself along the way. So that's what you'd call a framework. You put words, and it's very important to think this way. I don't know how to make people do this, but if you could make a beginner do one thing, and it was me saying it, I would say learn to think in frameworks. Simple ways of putting very complex issues.
Also, and I got to add to this because especially for businesses, I think it's kind of important is find out what your people are having issues with and collect that data, because if you don't have that data to provide to somebody like us as a team to provide you with a solution, it's going to be very difficult because we need to know where the challenges are. You can't begin to fix a problem until you identify where your sore spots are to deliver a customized solution to help take those away.
And it's never a judgmental situation. It's always a let's do this as a team, and let's just create what we need to, and fix what we need to where we need to. It's We build all our tools in compliance. all the way to CMMC, GDPR, all the big name compliances that you've heard. We work on that, but we can build down to just a basic calendar that organizes your life and helps you along the way. If you have kids and ball practice and this, that, and the other going on all the time, maybe you just want an AI to help you be a better dad. You know, um, there's 1,000 ways to use this in every situation, and we'd just like to come at least drill down to the best solution and help you with that so you can move on into the next level, which is your more advanced levels of automating everything. So we need to
Well, not only
discover
that,
the
but
issues. Go ahead.
imagine, and I totally dig the whole developing a bot, a gem, whatever you want to call them, to become a better dad, better person, whatever. Uh, but imagine being able to communicate with this thing using your microphone, whether you're on your phone, whether you're on a laptop, whether you're on the desktop, whatever the case may be, and being able to interact with it. I know it sounds really freaky, but to be able to interact with these things with a voice and a voice speak back to you. So think of it like, because some people got hangups about maybe going to see a therapist or whatever, or a coach. But now you kind of have your own built in whomever that will talk to you without any judging. You're not being judged, it's just spitting back what it thinks you need to hear based on what you ask or tell it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's good advice. So that's something that I've noticed along the way is that many people don't know how specific you need to be when it comes to AI because it doesn't read your mind, even though you typed in the chat many times before, until you tell it to summarize all of the chats above into a markdown file and then use that markdown file for your next question. Maybe it doesn't know that you're referring to something you asked a week ago until you tell it to. Just make sure you're specific because it can give you 100% results. The more specific you are, the more chances of that happening on a consistent basis. And it really does, especially mathematics, very well. It does writing, uh, copywriting unbelievably well, and creating thumbnails for your videos very well. It does a lot of things that you would do on a normal everyday basis if you are a content creator. It'll do all those and automate them and then post on social media for you. It will build a content calendar, planning out your day for you. And all of this happens on automation status, so you don't have to do it yourself. So that's where we would like to get you to. That's where we would like to finish up with our own company. Right now, with this class called Curious to Confident, the Foundations of AI, we're finalizing the class. We're putting in the automations, the email sequences. We're building the landing pages, and we're going to show you exactly what we did. So you can potentially do the same thing right out of our class, start a business day one.
And hold on, I got to pull one of these cards out. So on the back of our business cards, there's a saying that I came up with. CPWE is the creative platform with everything at cpwe.ai. We specialize in web development, SEO, AI automation, chatbots, and AI optimization. More importantly, we use AI to give you back more of your most valuable resource, your time.
That is absolutely a good statement, too, because we do give your time, we make money and save money.
Because
Yeah,
remember, on their deathbed, no one has ever said, "I wish I made more money."
yeah, that's enough said. That's a mic dropper right there. We save time. lots of it. And our mission statement as a company is family. So we prioritize family. We prioritize the elderly, the generation that has something to offer still. And let me just assure you that what you have to offer is way more than you know that you have to offer. Uh, it could be one thing or 10 things that you do all the time that somebody around you is asking, how do I do that? How do I change the oil in a lawnmower? I mean, these things seem so trivial to some people and so easy to others. That's where AI can come in and we can start showing you how we use it in everyday life, how you can use it in everyday life to bridge your skills gap. So that's where we're at with it. It's been 30 minutes. Is there anything you guys want to add for tonight for beginning AI? Like what kind of questions? Cybersecurity, do you think that's a question?
If you are just beginning, don't put anything sensitive into it, because I don't care what they tell you, that AI is being trained on your data. Now, if you're asking, hey, give me a low fat recipe for whatever, and here are my ingredients, nobody cares about that. Don't put your, sensitive data into it.
Not unless you're running it local.
Yep.
So that's something we will show you how to do if you so choose to. We'll show you how to run an offline, what's called self-hosted version of AI, so you can take it into a more secure environment. We can do it in your online machine using environments, and then we'll show you how to set up some basic cybersecurity and logging so you can be safe using AI. Those are introductions that we do in our classes, and we'd love to see you there. On that note, it has been 32 minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and end this stream if you're okay with that.
Sure.
Good night, everybody.